when I came to Canada the first time, I never wanted to come to Canada. And I came here, I think it was 2008. I didn't even have a visa to come to Canada. I was in the US on a holiday, and my wife was in Canada visiting some family and friends, and they insisted I come, and I said, "No, I don't have a visa." They said, "Well, get a visa from the US, from the Canadian embassy in US," and I said, "They will not give me because I am not a US citizen." But anyways, I went to the Canadian embassy. I got the visa, thankfully, and it was a very funny incident, and I'll share that with you. So I got the visa within 3 to 4 hours, and this is what happened. And imagine this was 3 to 4 hours, you getting a visit visa versus today when you can't get a visit visa in 14 months, right? So I went to it was the Washington DC Canadian Embassy office, visa office, and so I prepared all my documentation, the form and everything, and I went over there and I applied. And so the staff took the documents from me at the counter, and I said, "Please wait, somebody will speak with you." And a visa officer asked me to come up forward to the window, and after some time, and said, "Okay, so why do you want to go to Canada?" I said, "I'm visiting my family and friends." And then they said, "Where are you going to be staying?" I said, "I'm going to be staying with my friends." And he said, "Why not? And who's the family?" And I said, "My in-laws." And he said, "Why won't you be staying with your in-laws?" I said, "Because I can't stand them." And she started laughing out so loud. And I guess my answer sort of tend to work. And she gave me a visa immediately. And I had applied for a single entry visa for one, but I was given a 2-year multiple entry visa. And I think she was so impressed with the fact that she wanted me to go visit my in-laws, kind of a thing. And that's what happened. And that's how I got my first visa. I came to Canada. I crossed walking. Because I came to Buffalo by a flight. I was in Washington. I came to Buffalo, took a flight to Buffalo, took a taxi, came to the Niagara border, the Rainbow Bridge. I walked across the Canadian border, dragging my suitcase with me, and my friends were on the other side to pick me up. It was about 8 in the evening or 9 in the evening, and it was dark. And so that first sight of the Niagara Falls and those rainbow colors, as they call it, the Rainbow Bridge, it was beautiful. But no, Canada did not hold my attention, because at that point of time in my life, in my career, I was doing extremely well. I was riding the high waves. There was nothing that Canada could offer me at that point of time for me to leave whatever I was doing. There was nothing there. And it was obviously cold. And now I had spent so much time in Dubai that the heat and the warmth of that place versus the cold of this place did not gel very well with me at that point of time. So I spent about 2 or 3 days in that first trip. It was only spent indoors talking to friends and families, because there were so many friends and so many people we wanted to visit. And that was it. I did not see Canada or anything for that matter, except for I went to Costco. That was the only thing. And when I went to Costco, and these guys were all raving about the place, and I said, "So what's the big deal? I mean, it's a supermarket. It's like a market which has bulk stuff. You pick up what you want to pick up and you buy, and that's the end of it. I mean, what's the big deal that everybody's making about Costco?" That was my first experience, and that was it. I left. I went again to Canada. I think it was in 2012 or 2013. Again, I don't remember. And that point of time, I went there for an interview, because there was an organization, some people who I knew, who wanted me to interview for a very senior role in a position in Canada. And when they made me an offer after my interview in Toronto, I laughed at them, and I walked out, and I said, "You can't be kidding me. I mean, you got to be kidding me with this kind of an offer that you're making. It's a joke, right? What you're offering me, because what you're offering me is so much less than what I'm making outside, where I'm making what I'm making." And today, if this was like 7-8 years back, and today, if I would get that offer, I would like kiss the ground and take that offer, because it was that brilliant an offer at that point of time, which I refused. Again, my high horse that I was riding on was not allowing me to see the bigger picture. So I refused that job offer, obviously. But during that period of time, I stayed in Canada for longer. I loved what I saw in terms of the place, in terms of people, and I think it was the weather also which sort of helped me feel better in the place. So I spent quite a lot of time. We did a lot of road trips, and the nature. Now, I am a Delhi boy. Okay, so when I'm saying I'm a Delhi boy, basically you come from a background where you cannot breathe at certain points of the year, during certain points of year, you just cannot breathe, because I'm sure it's happening right now in Delhi, because that is what will be happening right now. You can't breathe. It's so bad. So there were few things which were completely incredible in terms of Canada, which struck me straight away. First of all was the fresh air. I mean, I couldn't believe how fresh is fresh when you call, when you say something fresh, sometimes you just cannot, you know, if you're not experiencing it, you cannot feel it and understand what I'm saying. So when I'm saying that feeling of fresh air was unbelievable, I can't even explain it. And the reason is because just before coming to Canada, I was in Delhi for almost a month or so. So I was sick. I was like constantly sneezing. I had blocked nose. I was like literally, in a bad state for a good period of almost the entire duration of my stay in Delhi was the same. So immediately after that, I took a flight, came to Canada, and so you got off the plane and you're like, you had like a lung full of air and you're like, oh my God, what is this? I've never experienced this. I mean, is something like this happens in this world? And it was incredible. And the second thing which really, really got my attention was the people. Again, as I'm saying, I'm a Delhi boy, right? So my interaction with people, whether it's on the streets, whether it's on the road, in the road rage, or janta hai mera baap kaun hai wala situation, and it's not been pleasant, whether you like it or not, and it's a general consensus. So now when you meet people in Canada and where people are smiling at you for no reason, and you start thinking, why are you smiling at me? But then you realize that it's that's how people are. They are nice people. They are not trying to sort of smile at you for ulterior motives or agendas. They're just smiling at you because they're nice people. That's the way they are. Or it's such a common thing for people to be, wishing you good mornings, good evenings during the day as you're walking on the street, or you're walking on the road, you're taking a morning walk, evening walk, whatever. And it's so common for people to nod at you and greet you, and I found it to be alien coming from where I was coming. So those were things which really got my attention. And at some point of time on my flight back from Canada, I don't know, something must have clicked in my head and I made up my mind. So I think I came back to Canada again to do some recce, to do some research and figure out what I could do here. And I decided that's it. So I came to Canada to do some recce and do some research, and I decided that's it, I'm not going back. I don't care what happens, I will not go back. I was on a visit visa, and I continue to be on a visit visa. I set up my business being on a visit visa. There was no problem setting up a business. I had a partner, and he sort of was looking after the business. And that's. So I stayed in Canada for almost, obviously I went in and out, and I was trying to do all different things. But I was in Canada for almost 3 years, 2 years, 3 years. Before no, actually I was in Canada for 1 year before we even applied for permanent residence. The permanent residence application for us took 2 years. I went out of Canada for a period of 1 year. So I think I stayed in Canada for almost 2.5 years before we even became permanent residents. And this was not being a student, this was not being a worker, but this was us being, people, whether we were visiting or whether, we were doing constant trips trying to figure out what we wanted to do. So by the time we became PR, we were already here. I mean, for us, it was nothing different. Like from yesterday to today, all that changed was a status. Incredible experience. And though my initial inhibition was like, Canada is this winter frozen land where everybody goes away to wither away and freeze. My experience has been nothing but incredible. I mean, I do not have any, I can't think of any better words right now, or awesome, as I would like to say. I personally have become, I think, and my family to a degree probably agrees with that I probably have become a much more better human. At least that's what they say. I still have no reason to believe I'm a better human than what I was. But anyways, so that my temper tantrums have dropped. I don't sort of flare up that much as much as I used to. I have become that much less arrogant. Earlier, I was a total you didn't want to talk to me kind of a person. Thankfully, now I've found a better, amiable self who I have learned to be friends with, and yeah, so it's been nothing but awe inspiring, and I wouldn't exchange it for any other place at this point of time. And trust me, I have traveled. If I was to fill up my travel history when I was doing a PR application, it was like, I mean, do I have to really mention all of this? Because it was unbelievable. So I had like this, these many passports, because my passport would expire, would finish up every year. All it took me was 1 year to go through 60 pages of my passport. So I had like these many passports, and I said, do you really want me to go through all of this and list down every single travel? And I said yes. So I have traveled and I've been to so many places in the world. So my experience has been there in terms of people, in terms of places, in terms of vibes. And I don't think I'm going to exchange Canada with probably Myanmar if what was happening there right now was not happening. But then again, I love the people there as well. I love people in Myanmar. I love the green in Myanmar. I love the weather in Myanmar. I love the food in Myanmar. But what is happening right now, you see now that's what happens, right? So yeah, that would have been my other option in an ideal world. If obviously things the way they are, they wouldn't be happening. But definitely Canada any day. So this is my journey. This has been my experience. This is what I love. This is what I do, and this has been nothing but a blessing, as I would like to say.